All right. Good morning. Happy Monday. Happy Labor Day for all the Americans that celebrate it. Or I believe it's a national holiday, so you either have to be paid for holiday pay or have it off. At least I'm pretty sure. I don't know. But anyways, this is actually, in fact, I already think I want to just take this down. I mean, I thought it was going to look cool. Those are blocks of raw iron, which in the city texture pack look really cool. And this is the start of a house that I'm making. I was trying to make it like multiple houses. Like this was going to be the end wall, and like their house would be this. They'd get, a nice living room and all that, and then like have some stairs go up to a level two. Then I need to like dig out a bunch. In fact, there's some more iron there, but let's go ahead and go to sleep. So we're on the same sleep cycle. But yes, Labor Day weekend. Oh yeah, and I'm playing as a green techno blob with headphones and whatnot. There you go. You can see it when I run. And yeah, and I've been digging out like this whole area, trying to make room for a massive. Oh, they disappeared. So that was around the 5 minute mark, I think. But anyways, not a big deal. There's plenty of raw iron. In fact, like I don't really like that. I don't hate it, but I think it needs to be extended out further because it kind of takes away the whole point of like why have stairs. Although at the same time, I guess it does protect. Let's see, do I have more? Or maybe even like if we could do that. Because it's one, two and a half, but I don't think an Enderman can get it. An Enderman could get in there. Okay. Now it couldn't, I don't think. So I guess that does kind of protect. Like you could still get in, you could run in, blah, blah, blah. But it looks a little too constricted, I feel like. I don't know, maybe not, but that's the entryway. I think I've put more time in the entryway than just there. And the window. Windows are kind of tough because, like, you want nice big windows, but at the same time, now they can see everything in here. So it's kind of creepy. Like, you don't have blinds. Or wait a minute. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. You can. All right, but anyways, I'm trying to fix up this village for the villagers because as it is, they live in a prison. They just work and sleep and work and sleep. They don't even have a food line. I've got like a storage of food, like here somewhere. Actually, not even. Let's go ahead and feed the inmates. Ugh. I'm just kidding. I want them to have nice, lavished homes and be peaceful and happy. That's why I put this dirt down when they were all kids, so they could play like on a playground, a patch of grass. But in order to get grass, yeah, I need enchantments. Yeah, then we're gonna have more kiddos. And two to you, and two, one to you, and one to you. All right. I think they need more than that. And we do have a ton more food. So actually, let's go ahead and fix that. Do what you say and say what you, or mean what you say and say what you mean. There's so much good Dr. Seuss. And that's why I wanted to do a musings first of the day. I only did like one video yesterday. I played a little Elden Ring and then I got a little too relaxed and then ended up watching a bunch of Breaking Bad and playing other video games. So, and I think I might be sick too. My kiddos were sick this week. They're already fine again. So I think I'm catching it now, but that's okay because I don't work today. And even if I did, I might even just ask my boss, be like, I work from home. I got the sniffles and I don't want to share it with everybody. And he'd probably say, yeah. But I mean, I don't know. I don't honestly know what I'd do. I'd probably end up just going to work and being sick. That's interesting. I wonder what I'd do. Anyways, not a big deal. So as far as like projects and stuff to work on, I was also fiddling around reading with like political stuff, arguing on social medias. Like it's starting to happen on Facebook, which I like and I don't like because like there's a direct line to our governor. So now like someone with the actual power to do stuff is listening to some of the things that I say, even not maybe not directly every single one because he posts a lot of stuff and he gets a lot of response to the post, but his staffers for sure. And I think it was really him when he responded to, I genuinely appreciate this comment. because I was laying it out like how much what I appreciate about the free preschool thing or I don't care about calling it free. I mean, I know it's not free. Taxpayers pay for it, and someone's got to pay. And there was a couple of people on there that were arguing that the people doing it don't get paid. And so, okay, that's a concern that needs to be looked into. Everybody needs to get paid. We already have a problem with teachers not getting paid enough, and not because like the government is sinister, like "Meh, we can't." It's because there's just such a huge need, and there's only so much of a budget, and people don't understand that, and you're constricting that budget when you do things like, oh, I don't know, let someone skip out on taxes and make a ton of money, yet not put any of that back into the country. Like that's what we used to do. We used to have very high tax rates, like, and then Reagan came and wrecked it all. He also imported a ton of cocaine. And then he was like, oh, war on drugs, just say no. And his wife comes on TV. The audacity of that woman. Seriously. Just say no to drugs and alcohol because it's so easy when you're sitting up on top. And that's what it is. Like people that don't know, they don't know. They don't know struggle. And also the FOMO and the YOLO, the fear of missing out, and then the actual you only live once. Like there are different catchy ways of saying basically careful, like, you got to go and fight and survive and thrive and that's the bad thing. That's where we're kind of still messing up because we do have almost everything we need to sustain, at least decent living conditions all around the world for everyone. I mean, it's now just down to alcohol and miscommunication. So, sorry, that was a real long roundabout way of saying I want to work on some Scratch programs today. So I probably will only make a couple of videos if I do. I mean, there's this one. But my Labor Day weekend was pretty much like I did a lot of cleaning yesterday too. And finally, like, got some things picked up that I've been meaning to. Now it's time to go through and sort through a bunch of files and nonsense. Oh, because I've gone through like I don't know, like 5 or 6 jobs since I graduated college, and like every one there's a new insurance company, a new life insurance, like health insurance, oops, all these things where it's like, wait, where's everyone else? I feel like they've dispersed. I think there's some upstairs. Yep, there's little kiddos. There's you. Take some food. No, just the cat. And sometimes they wander up here, and then they like the whole time I was like digging that out, they just kept showing up. That's okay. Let's go ahead and fill. Oh, let's feed you some more. I mean, I like to think that they could just reach in and get their own food as needed and feed their kids. Like they are people. We'll just trust them as such. But they need to have a food stores. So they have this now. And then let's actually go ahead and make this into... let's make it all into bread. What are we doing? Or, well, we might want to... Yeah, whatever. I was going to say, if we want to breed animals down here, I know where to go to. In fact, let's actually feed them a couple of loaves of bread. I feel like that's like the best food staple, I think, or the most potent. And you are about to have a kid. Let's see, have another one. Okay. Whew. But anyway, Scratch programs to teach English, because that's a thing. Like, it's kind of it's sad. It's definitely sad because English is basically taking over. Oh wait, let's go to our actual farm and farm. And see, I'm going to clear out all this too. Like they're like scraping their heads as they run around. And that's the mine shaft. Don't go too far, little Billy or little Tommy or little Tina. I don't know. They didn't want to get too complicated in Minecraft, so they just made everyone male, basically, or seeming male. Except for with this city texture pack, some of them have longer hair, so they could be female. I don't know. And that doesn't necessarily dictate one or the other. But we're not about to go into all that right now. Um, Farming. Okay. We have plenty. So, but yeah, Scratch projects, because the way that I learned Spanish, or one of the part of the way, was from reading kids' books in Spanish. They had the Spanish writing, but you can't do that with online education because there's copyright, and that's fair too. Like I don't want to take away from other people that are relying on that for an income. However, I'm not relying on it for an income. I'm more thinking about how do I help other people in other countries learn English, at least enough to function? Because I'm specifically, well, okay, this is kind of, so I'm still like, I'm talking to some people in some other countries and trying to help them get here, but trying to explain just how hard it is, and that they need to go through the proper channels, and I don't condone any illegal activity for a number of reasons. One, because it's wrong. And now that the war on drugs is ending, I can honestly say I agree with just about all the laws. Like now the tax laws and all the loopholes and things that allow people to have such amazing wealth and and especially while other people are suffering, but even if other people weren't suffering, there still needs to be a cap on wealth. Like there needs to be a point where it's like, okay, you've won capitalism. Now relax. Go do something else. Like, like stop. Like go away. That's basically it. I mean, for one person, like, and I don't know, Jeff Bezos and Elon might be great people, might not. Elon, I kind of know a little more about because I see what he says on social media, and I follow him on X app, and all that, and I comment here and there, and I'm sure he's probably never seen any of them, maybe one or two of all the comments I've ever done because again, it's probably his staffers. They probably filter out, and then his platform is even starting to filter things out too. And it looks like if you don't get enough, if you're not dedicated enough in the platform to comment a lot and to raise to a certain status, have enough followers, have enough people liking your stuff, then you don't get a say. So it's still censorship. It's still not one voice for all. And I see part of why that is. Because a lot of people just said the most outrageous things because cyberbullying is a very real thing. And I had a lot of experience with that when I used to play StarCraft on BattleNet. I used to talk with all sorts of people, and I was pretty good at the game. And I was only in like middle school, high school age. I think this was middle school, is when I was like really deep into the online gaming scene, the MMO, the massive multiplayer online. And I was beating a lot of people bad, but I wasn't mean about it. Like I would do it, and sometimes I'd toy with them. Like I'd just like utterly destroy some of their bases, and then I'd let them live, and then I'd just go do my own thing and continue to build like stuff and prepare for that's what they're doing. That's all that they can do is try to limp back from where they were to try to rebuild their society and rebuild their armies. And yeah, I was a pretty good strategist in that game. Not the best. I mean, I got beat too, just as much. I mean, not trying to say I was some like gift from the creator. Like, and see, when you say the creator and you don't say God, you can then satisfy all of the religions at once. Even the Greek and Roman, like the polytheistic religions, like, and those are just the main polytheistic religions. There's tons. And I'm actually getting a book soon about natives, and it's a book. I think it says "We are all human" or "We are all family." Here, actually, let me see it because this is important. I'm gonna look it up. As I use my Amazon app. So, and I'm not saying Jeff is a bad guy. It's just he's reached his limit. He needs to be stopped. Like no more. I mean, enjoy what you have. You can't even spend, and maybe retire too, or maybe I think he already has passed on the torch for Amazon CEO. But and he is, and, he is doing the rockets and the space travel and like so. And I'm not saying that they're, and if anything, people pay more. Oh yeah. Then we're getting into philosophical talks on these other groups, and that's fine. I try to keep politics out of that, but here we go. Arriving tomorrow by 10 p.m. This is awesome. I love Amazon. I'm not gonna lie. Like it's been amazing, and the people that work for it are people like me that I would have had an Amazon job had it been more popular or prevalent. In fact, I briefly dated a gal. Well, I worked with her a lot longer than that. And see, I'm still trying to fix my own sexism, my accidental girl. I would want to call her a girl, even though she was my age. And the whole time, like, but if she called me a boy, I'd almost be like offended. And that was a thing back in the hip hop, and the R&B scene. Back when I dated, in fact, one of my buddies called her the Jewish American princess, which I don't think she liked. I mean, she expressed how much she didn't like people talking about Jewish anything. I feel like I should have had a talk with them. I think I did, but not really. Anyways, the book. Where is it? Where is it? View order details. Okay, I do get a little lost from time to time, but because it's got a lot of things, it's got all these things. All right, it's by Mitaki Oyasin, and we are all related. Yes, and so I follow this guy Lakota Man on the socials, and he does this amazing stuff. Well, he's just constantly championing for Native American history, lore, rights, news, and you know, he kind of leans a little heavy into the politics stuff, and it's almost impossible not to because, um, actually, I need to take all of that. No, never mind. Let's take a lot of this down there. Let's take it as that, and then we'll leave the seeds because we don't really need those down there. And this stuff, take more of this stuff. Okay, so, oh, wait, do I have an? Oh, yes, I do. Let's go get all that wheat. But anyways, I want to make scratch programs to teach English like how I learned Spanish and, just to help, just to make free resources. And I'm thinking there probably already is a lot, but I want to kind of get more familiar with that because that's the other problem is I'm not really all that familiar with, okay, this is, this person makes content for free educational purposes or, because I still have that free Python tutorial for beginners. It's like 48.9 thousand views and like I think only like 200 or 300 likes, but that's the unfortunate kind of measure or meter of that's how many people are actually willing to make an account on Code and Game and then like it because I think you have to have an account to like things, which makes sense. Otherwise, you could just make bots like your thing, and then they'd have to have no verification that they're a human. Now, a human with multiple accounts, that is slightly, slightly a concern. And I'll admit, I have a few accounts for certain purposes. Like when I was first starting Twitch, I did cheat. I had like one person, a bot, just sit there and watch me play. So I almost always had someone there, which in hindsight, I do feel kind of bad doing it, but then I learned that I'm not that great of a gaming streamer yet, and those streams generally didn't get a lot of views. However, teaching coding or even just coding game Clash of Code game streams, you could get tons of viewers. And so I didn't need to cheat. I just needed to switch I mean, I still did a little bit. And my justification is I have two kids that are with me like half the time, so and it changes constantly. But normally I would have another pair of eyeballs and another person in my house watching my streams, because and I was kid friendly with all of it because I wanted to assume that kids might, and also now we need to get an enchanting table. That's what we need to do. So we might need to go into the nether and get a bunch of lava for some obsidian. So I don't think I have any spare. I mean, I do, but I forget where I put it. So let's check our main. And this is the other, like, if I haven't explained that before, why I have two stairways. That's because I came back from the village and I got lost. I couldn't find the mining shaft stairway, so I just dug straight up and then I finessed it with, yeah. See, I need some obsidian. I need a diamond. I think it's just one. Yeah. Oh, two, and a book. Hmm. All right, let's find some cows. Let's make a cow farm. Make a cow house in honor of Jesse from Breaking Bad. Um, and let's go drop off all that building material stuff because I do want to continue to build. Um, I also need water with a villager's village. And I'm just continuing to tuck everything into this mountain. Yeah, it's boring now, kiddos. I'm sorry. Just pretend there's a bunch of cool stuff down here for them to play with and enjoy. I mean, I'm building that. I needed the villagers sooner rather than later because that's how you get the emeralds. That's how you get, it's just kind of a thing. So I did that before actually making the nice places to live first. Okay. So yeah, Scratch programs for the win. And I love Scratch. The only thing I don't like about it is it's too small. Like, I mean, I want like a big page and everything, but yeah, we'll go get some water after this. So it's really hard to put what you need on there. But I've already got stuff for kids' education going. Um, oh, I needed leather for a... Thanks, random animal, which this is dangerous because then actually let's go ahead and try to get this one. Yeah, because I need to make some books, but you need to block off... Actually, what's here? Oh, that's where it is. That's where my obsidian went. Actually, you know what? Let's leave that there, though, because I do want that. I do have 10 buckets. We just got to get to the ground level. Oh, I do have some of these. Okay. So let's go ahead and landscape down. Let's try to find where the lava is. There's just like no lava there. I saw some over there, but it could just be a flowing one. All right. So I need stairs. Do I have any material to make stairs? I do not, because I need wood. Oh, and I left the doors. All right. Well, that's okay. So we started to get down here. Let's go ahead and mark it a little bit better. Oh, oh no. No, okay. Okay. Yeah, that could be death there. So, okay, we need this right here. Oh, and I feel kind of bad. I haven't made it to Casa Bonita yet. Like, I love South Park. Matt Stone and Trey Parker are my heroes. Like, they, oh, the best entertainment. I'm so happy. They're Coloradoan, and I actually used to live very close to where South Park was. It was over by Fairplay. And I lived in Buena Vista, and it was like 45 minutes away, up on the other side of Trout Creek Pass. And South Park was kind of interesting because that whole area, I ended up having a friend that lived there in Alma, just these little like ski shacks for basically the people that worked at the ski resorts, ski bums, because you couldn't really make a living working at a ski resort, not very well. I mean, you had to put in several years of dedication, and like I only put in 1 year in the boot shop, or in the rental shop, and I was a boot fitter, the lowliest of positions, like having to deal with people with their feet and like, and you know, trying to be polite when you can tell they've just like they're way overweight or they're just like too big for. I mean, and I'm actually meaning overweight. Like we had to have calf extenders because their ankles were too big. But then you had to politely say, be like, hey, you know, they don't fit in any of the boots that we have, you know, and that's kind of like a, not saying we didn't have people that needed calf extenders in BV, but like we only bought so many boots, and I'm trying to remember how that worked because the foot size would still be, but since it also incorporated the ankle, we weren't able to afford having all of these special boots that would actually fit them, and they would need to go custom if they were of a certain size of ankle. So anyways, yeah, so if ever, you know, people wonder how I'm so patient as an IT technician, that's part of it. I mean, the other part is living with prison officers. Like, you know, I have a bunch of prison officers and police officers in my family. So there, you had to be respectful. You had to watch your P's and Q's. And that also meant that when I started getting into things like cannabis, I had to be extra careful because half of my family would bust me. They wouldn't, but they would give me a stern talking to, and I might get some special treatment just because, you know, the people would know, be like, well, he's not a bad kid, he's just messing up right now or whatever. But even the cannabis, like, they usually just ignore it, honestly. I mean, and, you know, and same with right now, the federal government knows a lot more than we like to think that they know. And I'm slightly okay with that, slightly. Because if they were out there busting people left and right for substance abuse things, like now murder and assault on kids and all that stuff, yeah, go for it. Like, get them all. You know, be like Pokemon and gotta catch them all. I'm down for that. Like, I support law enforcement and corrections for that. And corrections in general, that's what it is. It corrects your behavior. Now, it's not the best, but it's definitely better than what we were used to. I mean, you know, and if you look at history as a whole, like the macro level, like we used to have torture. Like we used to have like all of these creepy machines and devices that, you know, we now have in video games as a joke. Like if you play Borderlands 3, you go through like these some kind of like torture chamber areas too that are pretty messed up. But then you start like looking into the actual history of what was real. Like in medieval times, people get tortured all the time. Like Spanish Inquisition, like if you didn't say that you believed in the true God, like, and then we like to think that Muslims are so barbaric and everything just because their religion said that there's one true God, Allah, and one true Prophet, Muhammad. They basically just put it in there because so many people were saying, no, like my prophet was really God, or my prophet was really the one talking to God, and that's offensive because it's like Jesus, if you didn't really ascribe to Jesus, like you didn't really have much recourse, or if your family didn't particularly like how he taught, according to certain people, you weren't really going to heaven, and that's a big threat. Like that's the biggest stick in history. So for those that don't know, the carrot and the stick, they talk about it in Better Call Saul. Mike Ehrmantraut, one of probably my favorite character actually. He's a lot of people's favorite, but basically a carrot is something nice to lead someone to do something or to convince someone to do something a nice way. You give them a reward, a carrot, and it's talking about horses. So when you're trying to like deal with horses or use horses to do things, see, it is manipulation. Like you're using that animal as a work animal, like a pack animal. But anyways, getting into that whole thing. And again, South Park talks about a PETA episode and P Diddy with Vote or Die, which is a very bizarre campaign anyway. It's like vote or die. Like they were trying to stress people out. Like if you don't vote, then you're gonna die and all this. And then South Park for the win again was just like they had P Diddy Poof like riding around with a bunch of people. And I'm sorry, like anybody that threatens death over altercations is a punk in my book anyway. And I will tell them that. And that's like fighting words in prison because that means you think that they're less than human. So if you're willing to take someone's life over a disagreement or the heat of the moment, like you deserve to be in prison for several years, if forever. Now, we need to change the things that lead to that for sure. It's not just all on them. Like the FOMO, the perception, the fear of missing out. So when I'm sorry, and then the stick is it's a beating. So and then he had a campaign that said vote or die. So and I'm pretty sure that's ruling through fear or coercion, which is loosely also defined as terrorism. And we're at war with terror. Apparently, we had and again, South Park has the 9/11 episode. And, they just kind of make light. And they don't really have one opinion or the other. They're like, it's an inside job, or we're pretending it's an inside job, so for our own benefit, or, nobody really knows. And really, nobody really cares, like, because at the end of the day, like 3,000 people did die, and that's what I care about. Is like it was a huge. If it was a stunt, that's a horrible stunt, and it did usher in the Patriot Act with monitoring of things. Like before, people couldn't monitor as much, and it was a much bigger deal if people were listening into your conversation. Although, and it's interesting, the flip side. Now you've got people telling a lot more, and not tattling so much. I mean, you notice I don't ever say anything that's not really illegal. I mean, I guess maybe it was illegal to use cannabis back before it was legalized, but same with prohibition. How many people we kind of glorify it now. Like there's a character in that show, The Ghost, or show Ghosts, that was part of prohibition. She was a lady on the inside. She used her feminine wiles and her singing too, not just her feminine wiles. She was a jazz musician. So I don't want to point that out because I'm still trying to check my own biases. Because the character, she was a famous singer. She was wanted by many. She had her pick of the men, like maybe women too, I don't know. But probably not, because at that time, or at least she was more hush hush about that if she was. But anyways, jazz singer, very flamboyant, very like, showy, flashy. And she used to hang out with bootleggers. Like it was, okay. Kind of like how people had to deal with cannabis prohibition. Also, I think that's only one lava block. We're doing all this work. Ooh, I see do you see that? Yeah. Sounded like Dora the Explorer. Okay, let's not get too crazy, I guess, because we need to go down, and there's a fortress or a bastion over there. That's not a fortress, that's the bastion. So we can get to that. There's usually lava at the bottom of those, and that would be kind of cool. Clear out, like, harvest all the lava from there. And eventually I will get stairs. Just wanted to do this. And actually, I'm gonna run out of Nether rack. Okay. So this goes down. And I'm almost wondering if we shouldn't just do a switchback here and start going back down the other way. Yeah, I'll leave that, but I need to go down this way. Or wait, no. Yes. Oh, that's the end of this episode anyway. So, anyway, that's a little bit of the new era, the doing side. So that's what I'm working on now. I'm gonna do some scratch programs. Like for now, I'll use their default characters because I'm not making money off of it, nor do I ever intend to. It's a free service by MIT. It's supposed to be for kids learning to get into coding, but there's other people that do it too, and I'm getting near 40, and I'm gonna be doing it, but more in like a teaching capacity. And I'm trying to get my kids interested in it. They were for a little while. They thought it was cool to be able to make things, but like they're already off on other things. Like they're trying to make games in Rec Room, Fortnite Islands. Like, so not to say that they'll never do Scratch again. They might come back and do some more Scratch, but for now, I'll just do it. There's a whole family trying to stay warm in the lava. There you go. They got to be in the lava to be warm. But I don't know. Anyways, they're fine. They're fine. They'll survive. Just be a little cold. So, ta-ta for now. I'll see you in the next one, and hopefully I'll have an update later today. But I might not even do a lot of videos today. I might just chill. So, well, chill and work on Scratch, work on Python, a little bit of JavaScript. I'm not a big fan of JavaScript, but I'm trying to make that web server for online voting. But I already told Anonymous about it, and I told Chinese government officials about it. Like, it's out there. And I'm talking, like, debating things with Chinese people. Very loosely, though. There was, like, a few people that, like, instantly told me to mind my own business. Like, don't tell us how to run our country. I was like, I mean, I'm mainly talking about it for my own country, but this idea is universal. Like, it's the idea of one person, one vote. And I told this one person, I was like, the phone you're using, the internet that carries your message and the computers that handle it all were all invented in America. Like, not to toot my own horn, but I'm going to toot my own horn on that. And I attribute it to democracy, like one person, one vote. Now, we're not the best. In fact, we're still having all those problems with the election fraud and all that, like the claims. But if we made a voluntary system of online voting that people could opt into, if they didn't care that the government knows who they voted for, and it's not like they're even keeping track, like we can make rules that like, okay, we can't just store this for anyone in the government. This is only visible. It's like HIPAA, you know, for certain people's eyes only, meaning the IT technicians who don't give a rip anyway. And as an IT technician, I can tell you, I have access to my, at my fingertips. I can pull up records for any of 60,000 people. I don't care. Never did. Never will. And before that, I worked at a place where I could pull up records of military secrets and stuff that you needed a clearance for. I mean, I'd go to prison, and I knew that, and I treat that with HIPAA too. Like I basically, if I was abusing that and like looking other people's things up, I could go to prison. I just kind of consider it that way. So if I need in there, I do. And that's how it'd be with online voting. Like most people don't give a rip. Most people can tell by your bumper stickers or your social media. And, unless you're a lurker and you're more private about that, then that's fine. You could even do it privately, like with the paper ballots or in-person voting. But even then, in person with facial recognition and like and you have your ID checked there, it's almost like, I don't know. And I'm all for people having to have ID. It is a scary thing, but it's also necessary because, well, one, we all have it already. So we're identified in our DNA and stuff. So in case we commit a heinous crime or something that would be on Dexter, boom, you deserve to get caught. Like, and whatever happens to you. But just don't do that. I mean, and it's easier said than done when people. Anyways, I'm getting on a soapbox here. Ta-ta for now. I'll see you in the next one. Actually, no. Let's finish. Let's resolve that real quick because that sounds really messed up. People are known to do a lot of crazy things, like violent things, dangerous things, and we're trying to address all of the underlying factors that would lead up to a moment like that. Take away the heat of the passion, or in the heat of a moment that could cause somebody to murder somebody, or like to attack somebody. Even attacking, like fist fighting, bodying and stuff, like it makes sense. When you start getting weapons, anyways, but Yeah, just like checking people that have already always been able to walk all over people. That's what I did. I grabbed some weapons too, so I wasn't really that great, but and I served some time. So, anyways, but as far as like murdering and stuff and like calculating or stealing, like embezzling and all that, like the things that the big rich people are doing, that white collar crime is just as big of crime too. Like imagine if you just walked into a grocery store and you just walked behind there and took money from the counter or took money from the register. Like that's basically what a lot of these other people are doing. Like not they're taking it from the government's register. Like the government's funds, like how we fund police officers, corrections officers, teachers, our roads. Like why how, you know how we can't afford to pay teachers? Because rich people are stealing from the register. Like they're taking the teachers' salaries. So that's why people are getting upset. You know, vive la resistance and let them eat cake. Now we'll show you what's up with cake. You pay your taxes, fool. Anyways, ta-ta for now. I'll see you in the next one.